Well, hello again. Can't say it's not been a while, but I've had ample excuse not to make a video.
I can't feel my legs, RP. I've wanked the use out of them.
But today I thought to help you people out. The people who I constantly deride, my audience, all three of you, who want bot accounts. I thought I'd help you actually acquire these figures which you always see people parade about on their YouTube channels. So people will be like, it's not as simple as just going on eBay. So I'm going to help you out on how to actually navigate eBay and other places that might actually have these figures around, because honestly it's very unlikely that they will at this point in time, unless it's an actual specialist collector's store or any other kind of derivation of something like that. So buckle up, because I'm going to show you how not to be a moron on eBay and other stuff. Okay, so I would say the most pertinent rule, if you are an actual serious collector, would be to actually know what you're looking for. Now, there is a lot of variants of figures that are very similar in appearance and decoration, livery, any other useless, obsolescent and quite frankly superfluous adjective you want to use in your vapid commentary is up to you. But it is very hard to delineate certain figures from one another. So this becomes a problem when sellers pick up on this and they start selling rare figures which are not actually rare, they just are a more common variant of rare figures. So the reason why I'm displaying these figures in particular are because there have been actual examples of this. Okay, Commander Faye from a Legacy Collection 2008 comic pack, and the hideously ugly Bogey Squad trooper.
Have any children that live?
Sir, yes, sir.
I bet they regret that. You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
From the comic pack, Star Wars comic pack, Republic 83, comic pack 9, Bogey Squad, Clone Trooper and Clone Commander comic pack. Basically, these figures are very similar looking. So you have to have a very keen eye on what you're actually looking at, because you'll always find that the prices on rare figures can vary. Sometimes they can be going for a steal, sometimes they can't be, sometimes they're ridiculously overpriced. But the market is as unstable as it is expansive. What you really need to do is know what you're looking for at the end of the day. So this can be with any listing. So you might want to look for, say, Standard Trooper from the Routine Valor comic pack. You have to know the differences. So if we're going to point them out very quickly, obviously lighter orange, no battle damage, sharper accent on the what used to be the fin for Phase 1 helmets. Anecdotally speaking, I managed to acquire this one from a small lot, and this small lot had quite a few of the more common Saga 212 basic trooper. So basically it was the fact that I had a keen eye, and I managed to get it for an incredibly low price, considering the lot price and how much this figure itself can go alone on because of its rarity. So that's one of the more key examples of actually visually knowing what you're looking for. Now, we've discussed the visual differences, so we might need to discuss aliases, because a lot of these listings, a lot of these figures, they all go for different names. I've seen many eBay listings just say, particularly for this one, they can go for Legacy Collection Comic Pack Clone Trooper Lieutenant and Clone Trooper. They can be they can also have the titles of the more colloquially known Routine Valor or the 212 comic pack. What you need to know is what you're looking for, especially if it's sealed or loose. You need to know the line it was produced in, the year it was produced in. You need to know all of its aliases. Okay, you've got to have, basically, you need to do your homework on these things if you want to actually pick them up for a good price, because some of these sellers do not know what they are actually selling specifically, and they will not always use the correct terminology in parts. So why is it so important? Because sellers that know what they are selling will not lower prices. They will keep them high. Okay, they are stubborn. Okay, you know, usually making an offer is basically pissing in a wind when it comes to very rare sealed and even loose figures. So, in order to try and find and possibly get them for a good price, because when it comes to the rarer stuff, you know, there's a much lower chance that you might find them for a lower price per se, but that is basically contextual to what actually it is you're looking for, because sometimes they can go for quite low prices. That's just variable on you know, where it's being sold is an important one, whether it's an auction or a buy it now, and hell, as likely as getting struck by lightning, you could find it in the flesh in some godforsaken store in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. So basically, it's a game of chance. This comic pack in particular has caused quite the headache for a certain YouTuber, as we all know. But this one also has various aliases. This is Comic Pack 9. This is Star Wars Republic Comic Pack 83. This can just be, in listings, sometimes just have the Clone Trooper and Clone Commander comic pack, but it's colloquially known as the Bogey Squad.
Bogies! It's there.
Because of the comic book inside, and it's the actual plot that it contains, and the actual Bogey Squad and Quinlan Voss in that actual comic pack. The Commander Faye we shown earlier and the Trooper, right, are both can be have the confusion of Commander Faye. Now, it's not really disclosed in the actual comic pack. It's just presumed that this one there is Commander Faye. I mean, it's very vague. But you will find that this one is being marketed as the Bogey Squad. It is not. Okay, there is actual cosmetic differences that are actually substantial between them. Okay, I'll go over them now. Armour itself is a lighter colour. Okay, it's lighter in appearance on the Bogey Squad one, whereas Commander Faye is a bit more dark in terms of that. Also, another very pertinent little detail to note: if you ever are confused, this will help. On the Bogey Squad Trooper, there is no turquoise line, like on Faye. If you can see, it is just a pure black glove. On Faye, there is a white or turquoise line, not turquoise, you know, a greyish blue is a more apt description, as you can see. Another way to tell them apart, delineate them from one another, is this one. Commander Faye still has camouflage around the breathing apparatus and the respirator, whereas the Bogey Squad Trooper does not. It is basically clean around the breathing apparatus. Another way to tell them apart, Commander Faye has a darker abdomen body glove, whereas the Bogey Squad Trooper has a lighter one. Now, the second kind of rule that you want to remember from this video are the 3 different types of sellers on eBay. Okay, why 3, you ask? Because it's the only amount of ones that specifically can kind of be trusted to actually purchase from. So you have people who are just selling off their collections, number one, okay? So these people will usually be knowledgeable on what they're selling and can basically contextually based on whether or not they actually are really wanting that much money for them or just want to get rid of them. The prices will vary, but if they have a large collection, you are more likely to actually find some of the figures you're looking for. Now, a good way to find people who are selling collections are to actually type in specifically just the line you're looking for. And whereas I'm not really into purchasing from job lots, considering I already have mostly quite a few of the figures. If you're not really specifically after rare figures, job lots are a decent place to actually buy quite a few figures if you want to army build, if you just want to collect various ones that aren't that rare but you don't actually have. So these are where it's the least problematic, okay? Now the second type of seller are the ones that are basically semi-regular sellers, right? So some of them, say weekly, will actually get quite a few figures, or monthly, or basically when they want to, they will kind of sell off figures, just various figures. Sometimes it's not even related to Star Wars. But these sellers, all of the sellers that you want to look for, if they have a feedback rate of under 97%, I'd be wary of them. Also, always look at their feedback from the past 12 months, okay? Now this is important because even though eBay has certain regulations, there can still be bad actors. So don't worry too much about it. Just make sure that the person is a trusted seller, they've got a good history of actually making purchases and fulfillment of the figures that they've actually sold to people. These sellers are pretty much the most numerous, okay? So you'll find them pretty much anywhere. But they can have any type of figures, and basically you're looking for people who kind of regularly sell figures, because it's kind of like a constant flow of possible purchases that you're looking to make. So what I recommend the most is the third seller type I like to thingy, and they are business sellers. So these are sellers on eBay that already have small or large businesses that are offline. So there's quite a few. They always get new shipment and new stock in. They are always reliable and dependable for stock, and if they are a business seller, they are a lot less likely to have any shady shenanigans going on around them whatsoever. Okay? Now, all of this doesn't always account for things being lost in the post or things like that. It's a very different scenario for postal services in the UK to the US. I'm aware of that. The US is a lot more efficient, whereas ours sits with its finger up its arse, and they might deliver a package to you one way or another. More likely, so better sellers use couriers in the UK, and they can deliver any time whatsoever, and usually they're a bit more expedient compared to the Royal Mail, which we have in the UK. Now, business sellers usually do not have to make up for that much of a shortfall and having net profit. Okay, so some of them will be selling figures for a bit cheaper. You'll find these across eBay. The way you can actually identify one, obviously, is usually they'd have a Star Wars background or anything like that. Anything that looks a bit more professional. They'll have kind of like a proper photograph of it stood up with background or a diorama, and the figure will be, every detail of it will be disclosed, whether it's used, damaged, yellowed, whether it's brand new, whether it's just been removed from its packaging and not even been touched, or whether it's sealed. You cannot account for stuff such as shelfware, unfortunately. Especially on eBay, even though you can be provided images, you really cannot ascertain whether or not a sealed item is in perfect condition or not. Lastly, I wanted to touch on something that can improve your search results, specifically for figures that are newly listed. So you can actually help yourself find the more rare figures in a bit of a quicker time. If you actually specify newly listed, it can significantly improve your search results. Also put include description, as you are going to get more results from that, and if you add in more generic keywords, then you will get a lot more results. Simple as that. Now we're going to talk about auctions. Now, auctions are a tricky one. Now, this is entirely dependent on you, right? If you want to go onto an auction, it is up to you. It is your responsibility, it is your money. I advise you to be fiscally conservative. Okay, I'm not, no funny jokes here. It's your money, I'd spend it wisely. Auctions can get to ridiculous prices. When I was hunting for Montrose, which is, it was about over a year ago that I finally got him, which was from a business seller, by the way, on a buy it now. But the auctions would go up to extortionate prices because people will continually bid on an item to make sure, and their logic for this is they think people will be disincentivized from the amount of times that they're bidding. Please do not do that. It is completely detrimental to anything, because the people with the money in auctions will go like that in the last second, in the last few seconds, at least 5 seconds, and they will do what they call is sniping. Basically, if you're just there to drive up the price, you don't know what you're doing, okay? Auctions, for this reason, I tend to avoid them. But sometimes you can actually get figures for a good price, and that is what they're originally intended for. This is more likely, you are more likely to get figures for a good price if the rarity and notoriety of them is on a lesser degree. Now, what you will find with extremely rare figures is that they are not listed on auctions very commonly. It's about every fortnight that you might actually see running an auction. I know of one seller that used to sell things weekly, and occasionally there'd be a Montrose figure. Also, other dependent variables on the pricing can go up, whether if the figure is complete, loose, sealed, in good condition. Any of these variables can drive the price up or down, and it's dependent on you whether or not you actually want to settle with the figure's quality, if for the price that you are setting out to spend on it. That's another reason to always price cap what you want to spend on it, because usually auctions will just go over the scales. Sometimes, if you are a veteran of eBay, you will get steals. So say Routine Valor that I got sealed was an auction, and that was won with an eBay snipe. However, this is very uncommon. So be careful with auctions is what I'm actually trying to say. So, bootlegs. Usually, before, about a year or two ago, bootlegs would be incredibly easy to delineate from non-bootlegs. Now, the most common bootleg you're going to find out there is this fucking pilot figure. There are thousands of them, okay? Usually, massive indication that a figure is a bootleg is for it to come from China. Now, I'm sure you've all seen these things. They're in a lot of 20, 15, 50, 100 fucking things, you know, hoping for some mentally deficient person to click on them and waste their money on them. Please do not. I mean, someone in China has got access to the molds, but they are not using the correct techniques. They're not using the correct plastics. You can see here with this one, you can see it's too glossy. No figure is that kind of glossy, and helmet's a weird rubber thing. This is based on a 501st pilot that was sold in the line just after the Movie Heroes line, which was the one with the Green Yoda packaging in 2012. This is where most of the bootleg pilot figures originate from. Where you have to be wary, okay, is the recent ones. So you've got 5th Fleet Security Trooper knockoffs, 91st Reconnaissance Corps Trooper knockoffs. You've got 212 figure knockoffs. You've got 501st figure knockoffs. Now, if you do not know all the variants and the details that go with the variants, you will most likely fall for these figures, and they will not satisfy you. The quality will not satisfy you, okay? They cannot pose. They cannot hold weapons very well. This one can stand up, but, you know, whatever. Now, it's very important to notice. I'm going to go through each one of these examples that I've listed and show you the differences between these ones, okay? This can go for any figure whatsoever, Star Wars, whatever. You just know, if you know what you're looking for, like the first rule, you'll be able to tell the knockoffs from the other ones. And, you know, that extra vigilance can save you money that you can spend elsewhere on anything else, you know. I'm not going to financially shame anyone. Okay, so here's the 4 Clone Legions, divisions, and any specifications that are in question for bootlegs. Now, you'll notice that pretty much all of the official Hasbro figures, minus the Saleucami 91st Reconnaissance Trooper, have battle scorching and battle damage markings. You'll notice that there's a lot more contrast in the colours that are used. They're applied a lot more specifically and more identically to what is actually canonical to their appearances in Revenge of the Sith. Apart from the 5th Fleet Security Trooper, because that's a concept art one. Yeah. Pedantry at its finest level. Now, the bootleg ones, you will notice that they are basically clean. They are clean on all of them, completely clean. No 501st figure is completely clean. They all utilise this mould, the Revenge of the Sith Super Articulated 2005 Clone Trooper mould, and most importantly, they always have their legs a bit more apart than the official Hasbro figures. Now, the only other 212 figure that is completely clean, and that is a Hasbro one, is the Vintage Collection, the early Vintage Collection one, and obviously the Routine Valor Standard Trooper one. The other one is the Vintage Collection mould, and obviously they're not. You don't have to worry about that because they're not the same mould. As for 501sts, the only clean variant of a standard 501st Trooper is the Jedi Temple Assault one, and the 2007 30th Anniversary Collection Saga Legends 501st Vader's Legion Trooper. I know, bit of a fucking mouthful. Anyway, apart from those two, they are not the same mould as the one that is being copied. If you are looking for these, if you want to buy them, whatever, fine. You know, it's practically your loss, though. I mean, they're not really great figures by any means. The 5th Fleet Security Trooper one is the easiest to identify that something is fucking wrong. Okay, right? It's a bit like Bitch Brian and Bitch Stewie. Now, all of these ones are pretty, can be easy to tell if you've been buying these figures for years. The only one that is incredibly convincing is the 91st Reconnaissance Corps. Salute, my trooper. However, this is where you can kind of not worry about it.
Technically, nah. Have you ever
worry about it? The official Hasbro figure uses the 2003 Super Articulated Clone Trooper mold that was used for Phase 1s. However, the bootleg uses the 2005 one, and there you can see why you don't have to really worry about it. I know other people have said, oh, it could be a cancelled official figure. Don't fucking believe crap like that. Unless it's actually verified by Hasbro themselves, I wouldn't actually take that to be gospel on anything. So, you know, hopefully that settles the question. I know these bootlegs have been around for a while, but these ones have been specifically more convincing. However, there is still a lot of erroneous details and incongruences with the actual official figures. Hopefully that's cleared some things up for you. Or not. Whatever. What's the final rule? Be patient. It's as simple as that. There's no rush. If you are a serious collector, time is not necessarily of the essence. You will know that these figures that you are wanting to come by can take ages, years sometimes for them to pop up at the right price. Or even in your country where payment is viable or shipment is viable. This is all just dependent on time and chance at the end of the day. This is why this is the most important rule. Patience. This is why Qui-Gon Jinn always fucking says patience, or you know, Yoda and Obi-Wan and now whatever. And that dude who got killed by Django, I bet he was a real great Jedi Master. However, patience is a virtue. Now, that are my few rules. I hope this has helped. I know it's a bit of a different type of video to the ones that I usually create. However, I'm going to be making a few videos anyway. Basically, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. If not, whatever. If you want to hurl abuse at me, that's fine. But I can give some back, baby. I'm joking. I love my audience. All 2 of you who aren't bots. I know, it's gone down from 3. The last one I just stopped watching a few hours ago. Possibly because I made a few edgy jokes. But I will see you in the next one. The next one is going to be every 212 figure. Because I want to remaster that, because the first one's god fucking awful. Like this is any better anyway. Bye bye.
I've conquered all the chippies. I'm never gonna stop. Chips and peas and gravy. I've had the fucking lot.